Police tell government, pay for this service or we work for this service you can't pay for. The chairman of the Police Federation has demanded that the government pay rank and file cops a good salary or risk having the cops only work based on what is being offered. Corporal Jeans has indicated that documents from the Finance Ministry about the offer to cops on the new reconstructing compensation scheme reveal that the government wants to do away with what was already set by the courts for the Federation and instead tie the police to the same order made with other public sector bodies that have already accepted. Corporal James said the government offer would result in cops being worse off and that he will not be willing to sacrifice any of his members to that situation. New performance management system coming for public sector employees, says Clark. The country's public servants have been put on notice that improved remuneration means that there is expectation of improved performance and customer service. In this regard, a new performance management system is being developed for public sector employees, according to the Minister of Finance and Public Service, Dr. Nigel Clark. Clark spoke to the matter as he responded to questions from the Member of Parliament for St. Mary, Western, Robert Montague, during last week's sitting of the Standing Finance Committee that examined the 2023-2024 budget. We always hear about the money, but is there a work output standardization? Because you're paying a person more, it is tied to performance, Montague explained. In responding, Clark told Montague that his question was on the minds of many Jamaicans. Because we live in a country of approximately 3 million people, the public service is 110,000. When we take up over 100 billion, more for the 110,000, the rest of Jamaica wants to make sure that they are going to get value for this extra spend, Clark said. This is why we have been at every opportunity speaking for the need for heightening levels of productivity and performance coming out of this new compensation structure, he added. Continuing, Clark said the government, working with our partners in the unions, will be putting in a performance management system. We're committed to having it in place 2 financial years from now. The minister explained that the system will take time to design. Additionally, he said every part of the government will have a different matrix of performance indicators that will have to be assessed, and it will work differently in different parts of government. It is absolutely key if the people of Jamaica are to benefit from this huge investment that the people are making in the public service, said Clark. Case of murdered Mobile father of 5 drugs. Today, 5 children can only visit their father at a cemetery. Almost 2 gut-wrenching years after his murder, they continue to wonder why their breadwinner, 36-year-old Ken Thompson, was ripped from their lives. He was also the provider of his mother and younger sister following the death of his father and brother. His father died in a motor vehicle crash in 2010 and his brother in 2014 due to asthma. Thompson operated a bar in Bow Hill on his family property, overlooked the St. James capital of Montego Bay, was shot and killed at an event at the same bar by a gunman on August 27, 2021. At that time, his children were 1, 4, 6, 12, and 16. There has been no update regarding the investigation to date, much to the pain of the family. Police had described the event, which was 4 hours after the island-wide COVID-19 curfew hours would have begun, as an illegal event. However, his family, bereaved and torn, had told reporters that it was a bingo party that was being held, an attempt by Thompson to generate income to support the family through hard times brought on by the novel coronavirus pandemic. The family said there was no party being held. Roman Catholic Archbishop of Kingston Kenneth Richards said the situation at hand is a reminder that crime continues to affect Jamaican youth. He noted that looking at the specific situation surrounding Thompson's 5 children, it is difficult to conclude that youth are not direct victims of crime. The fact that the dependents, 5 children and a younger sister, had their father and older brother ripped from their lives, having been shot and killed at a bar he operated, means that they are direct victims. This is the sad reality of crime and violence affecting us all directly. The fact is that even persons who are mortally connected with a murder victim can be gravely traumatized. The community and even the nation is traumatized, Richard told reporters. Statistics from the Jamaica Constabulary Force (JCF) showed that Jamaica recorded 1,498 murders in 2022. A year prior, 1,463 murders were committed across the island, up to 132 from 2020's numbers. The high murder rate in our country is affecting us all. As a means of survival, some persons are numb to the commonplace reality of lives being destroyed by crime and violence. Others are terrified, and some are paranoid, living in a state of anxiety. We are all victims in a society where our crime and violence is commonplace and will occur at any time and place, Richard added. A police source told reporters that on August 27, 2021, two men were fatally shot as about 11:20 p.m. a party was in full swing in front of a bar in Bogue Hill when gunmen pounced upon a group of revelers and opened fire. After the incident, Thompson, his sister, and friend were found suffering from gunshot wounds. They were taken to hospital, where Thompson and the unidentified man were pronounced dead. His sister was treated and is now okay. One of the last things Thompson heard his sister saying was, "Hold on, just 2 more minutes," while they were on their way to Conner Regional Hospital. All of what he did is for the family. Everything that he did. My brother is all about my mother, his kids, and me. We don't have anybody else, she told reporters. Pointing to the now fatherless children, Richard said Jamaican youth were definitely affected, in a general way, especially when they lose an individual who is a stable provider of security, well-being, and livelihood. Our youth are definitely affected, negatively, because of the space in which they witness and experience the undetermined of human dignity. Some may become perpetrators who contribute to the cycle of victimizing others through crime and violence, he said. The question to Cain in Genesis 4 verse 10 is addressed to the perpetrators of crime and violence. What have you done? The Lord asked. Listen, your brother's blood is crying out to me from the ground. Therefore, youth are direct victims of crime and violence as revealed by the loss of the dependents. Meanwhile, attorney at law Alexander Shaw told reporters that in cases similar to that of Thompson, families and children of victims of crime are left with high hopes in the justice system. They somewhat find closure when perpetrators who disrupt their families pay for their crimes. However, that isn't the most common outcome. One of the challenges that we face as a third world country is the lack of enough investigators to pursue certain matters. And so, when you have one investigator dealing with 10 cases, chances are he or she will not get quality time to spend on all of them. You also have to pay attention to resources available to investigators and detectives, Shaw reasoned. Shaw added that a lack of resource means that they may not get an opportunity to follow certain leads. To cure that problem, the state has to focus on providing more human resources because it is all good to improve on technology and forensic technology and evidence gathering, but you also need to ensure that you have enough hands and eyes to deal with these matters, he said. It is a two-edged sword, Shaw continued. He noted that from the standpoint of one within the justice system, there is a deep want for families to get closure, but at the same time, there is also a want for the best case to go before the court. I am speaking now from the standpoint of an investigator because oftentimes we build false hope. And so, families may feel some sort of closure, some sort of conclusion when they hear that somebody is charged, but if there isn't sufficient evidence and the availability of eyewitnesses to procure a conviction, then it makes no sense, he stressed. We know for a fact that our ways of justice run exceedingly slow, and so the matter will be before the court for some time, 5, 6, 7 years. And if person is acquitted, a family is going to feel even more devastated. So you want to ensure that you put the best before the court, Shaw stated.